Funerals are held to honor our loved ones after they've passed away. They're solemn occasions where we share the memories of people who are part of our lives and celebrate the life that they had. Most people go to a funeral in order to bring some sense of closure to their life after a loss. Sometimes, though, the funeral marks the end of more than one life. Frenier, Louisiana was originally named Schlosser after the brothers Martin and Adam Schlosser. They were German immigrants that settled the area in 1850. The town was located right on the southwest shore of Lake Pontchartrain, and the brothers believed that the wooded area would be the perfect place to start a timber company. Unfortunately, the extreme competition in the timber industry at the time kept the company from being successful. They did realize, however, that the area was perfect for growing cabbage, and any good German will know that with cabbage, you make sauerkraut. They developed massive cabbage farms and began making and selling sauerkraut, which was a mild success at first, but once the railroads came through the area in 1854, they were able to export both cabbage and sauerkraut north. The business became a huge success and supported the entire town. One problem was that the town in that time was extremely isolated and there weren't any roads going in or out. The residents had to take a train if they wanted to go to another town, which made it difficult when they needed to see a doctor. The town needed to find someone to take care of the people living there. Julia Bernard was born around 1845, somewhere around New Orleans. Not much is known about her childhood, but in the 1860s she began working as a healer in the area. She would perform treatments in the form of prayers by laying hands on someone and use other types of alternative medicines. She spent years improving her abilities until she became known as a priestess and was highly respected. In the late 1860s, she moved to a small settlement which by then had changed its name to Frenier. They were in desperate need of a local healer, and she was more than happy to take care of the immigrant cabbage farmers. In 1880, Julia married a man named Celestin Brown, who worked as a local laborer. For many years, they lived in a small cabin right on the edge of the swamp, but in the early 1900s, the government granted a plot of land to Celestin, and they ended up setting up a place to practice healing and also act as a midwife. Julia was very well liked in the town, and most people referred to her as Aunt Julia. Celestin died in 1914, and Julia remained on the property by herself, usually sitting on her front porch singing songs. Julia was known for predictions and visions. She would sit on the front porch and turn her premonitions into songs. Most of them were innocent enough, but one day people heard her singing, "Oh, one day I'm going to die and take the whole town with me." Some people say that Julia had put a curse on the town because she had begun to dislike the residents. Some stories say that they weren't accepting of her voodoo religion, but there was no evidence of that. The residents seemed to appreciate her healing efforts and would later say that she was never a vengeful person. Many experts say that voodoo is more about healing than curses, and some think her premonition was a warning to the town about the coming storm. She was giving the townspeople a message that, when she died, the town would be destroyed, not as a threat, but as a warning. Louisiana voodoo was developed after West African slaves were brought to the French colony of Louisiana. The West African beliefs mixed with the Roman Catholic beliefs of the French and eventually Haitian Vodou. Though well known for negative acts like curses and voodoo dolls, the religion focused more on helping people through charms or alternative methods of healing. Julia died on September 28, 1915, and her funeral was held the following day. The entire town came out to pay their respect despite a storm that was brewing in the area. During her funeral, the storm picked up and turned into a full-blown hurricane. There were 130-mile-per-hour winds, and soon everyone in attendance left the funeral to find shelter, leaving Julia right where she lay in her coffin. The storm caused more than 300 deaths in the New Orleans area and destroyed everything in the town of Frenier. It demolished structures and washed away railroad tracks. Some residents made it to the railroad depot where they thought they'd be safe, but the building collapsed, killing 25 people. When the storm was over, the residents went back to where they had left Julia, but the entire coffin was gone. Her body was located 2 days later, but the coffin was never found. Residents of Frenier gathered the bodies and buried them in a cemetery, though Julia's body was buried alone about 100 yards away. That cemetery is the only thing that remains in Frenier today, and it's said that the area is haunted. Having to attend a funeral for anyone can be a sad event. We're saying goodbye to a loved one who's leaving this world behind. Just remember, when you're at a funeral, the one in the casket may not be the only one who leaves for good. Thanks for letting us tell you this sinister story. If you enjoyed it, subscribe on whatever platform you're on and hit like, rate it, or leave a comment. Join us next week where we'll take you somewhere sinister.